Good afternoon, Slew. Hi. I hope everyone's having an amazing day. So we are so excited to be joined by Mr. Grant Egan, who is our admissions representative from Marquette University in the beautiful city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It's a huge school for a lot of our junior bill graduates. So if you did not know, I hope you do. But if you didn't know, it is also a fellow Jesuit institution. Um, Mr. Egan, if you wouldn't mind just giving us a general overview of Marquette, kind of like an elevator pitch, if you will.
Well, hi, folks. It's a pleasure to speak with you. Yes, my name is Grant. I went to Marquette myself, so I'm putting on both my alumni hat today and also my admission counselor hat today. But as far as the elevator pitch goes for Marquette, like a lot of Jesuit institutions, we are a medium-sized institution just outside of downtown Milwaukee. So it gives you that comfort of having a traditional college campus like the fake green space you see behind me here. That is from a picture from our campus. And also because of our proximity to downtown area, it gives you the whole city to go and explore and have some fun in. We have 7 different colleges. A lot of interest I get from students from SLU High specifically. Would be, I'd say, the College of Business, College of Engineering, and College of Health Sciences for those who are hoping to go into PT or some kind of medical field after that. Loads more of information coming down the way, I'm sure, but as far as the 30-second spiel, there you go.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Also, would you mind giving us a little bit of insight on any updates or any new programs that have recently started at Marquette?
Yeah, in the past 2 years, we have built a brand new residence hall, so that has about 900 beds in it for freshmen and sophomores, because we do have a 2-year requirement for students to stay on campus for their first 2 years. From that point, as far as other updates go, we went test optional last year, and we are continuing to go to stay test optional this year. And I do pray that we stay test optional forever and ever, because it's a phenomenal opportunity for students. And particularly this year, we don't want to put students' health and safety at risk in order to take a test. So know that you will not be at disadvantage for admission purposes, for scholarship purposes, nor financial aid purposes, or any of our accelerated degree program purposes by applying test optional. So completely up to you. But I think there's this myth that some people think it's going to hurt me if I apply without a test score. That's simply not the case at Marquette. The other thing, well, I think that's about the main updates as far as these past 2 years at Marquette goes.
Okay, awesome, awesome. In in lieu of everything that's been going on with the pandemic, um, have you started to allow on-campus visits again? And if not, how would you recommend that students get a little bit more engaged and get some of their research in without actually stepping foot on campus?
Sure thing. Yeah, so two points of the conversation there. We are in fact offering on-campus visits. They are very small in their nature. They're very spaced out. We used to be able to host 60 people at a time. Now we can host about 15 people at a time. So it's very compact. We have booked those visits through the end of October currently, and we'll continue to book them as it's deemed safe and advisable to do so. If students physically cannot come to campus, we completely acknowledge that, and we have done a phenomenal job at putting all of our visit offerings in a virtual setting as well. So if you're hoping to take a virtual tour of campus or set up a one-on-one appointment with myself or even a member of our Office of Financial Aid or connect with a specific college that you're hoping to apply into, all of those things and then some can be found on our website by going to Google and searching Explore Marquette Virtual. Those are the 3 big buzzwords that you'll get a hit for that link to find all the information from us.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. I know a lot of students kind of had the assumption that there are no on-campus tours at all whatsoever. So thank you for doing that. And gentlemen, keep on doing your research and reaching out to your colleges and looking for these updates because there are schools that will allow you to visit. Um, all right. So let's talk a little bit about the city. So I know that there's the amazing lakefront and there's a Harley Davidson museum and there's a lot of amazing things to do within the city of Milwaukee. Just talk about how there is a connection to the school and what type of connections and internships or opportunities that students would have with the larger Milwaukee greater area.
Would be happy to. Yes, this is a topic I get very excited about, and I could talk for hours and hours about it. So I'll try to condense it into a concise format here. But yes, so I mentioned this before, but we are located just right outside of downtown Milwaukee. So it's about 1 or 2 blocks away from campus is where you are in the thick of the city, right? So if you're hoping to, Mr. Shields had mentioned internships and maybe co-op placements and research opportunities, clinical placements. Having a city right next door to a college campus opens up so many opportunities and all of the doors within those opportunities for you to go and get those experiences. No one is ever going to simply give you a job, but if you're doing the bare minimum by connecting with the college that you're admitted into within their career services office or coordinator, they're the ones who are going to help make sure you've got your resume and your cover letter ready to go and figure out how the employers are recruiting students. Is it completely virtual? Are they coming onto campus? All of the ins and outs of what that process is going to look like. So yes, it's right next door to us. There are resources on campus to get you connected within those fields of whatever you're hoping to go into, whether it's for those internships or co-ops or full-time employment, what have you. But it is truly a wonderful two-way beneficial street here, because we know that the employers are right next door to us. In fact, there are 9 Fortune 500 companies that are headquartered in the greater Milwaukee area. And at the same time, they know that we are here as well, producing some top quality students. So that when we have the networking nights and the job fair nights, they're extraordinarily well attended by some of the top recruiters in the country. And that's just all from the job perspective. Now, if we flip the lens and talk about that social side of campus, or social side of that city, that opens up so many more doors and opportunities for students, because you've got, as Mr. Shields had mentioned, the Harley-Davidson Museum is just next door to campus. We've got a world-class art museum. If you want to see, if you're interested in the NBA, that is, the Bucks, they play about 10 minutes away from campus. And that's actually the same arena that Marquette plays our home basketball games in for our men's team. If you want to see Broadway shows or comedy shows or improv comedy, stand-up comedy, or heck, just going to some nice restaurants or some coffee shops nearby, all of that is within walking distance at campus. If you don't want to walk, no worries. We do have a bus pass that you pick up during your orientation. It takes you across the entire county's worth of bus lines, so you do not have to have a car on campus. I'll say that again. You do not need to have a car on campus. It gets expensive to have one. You become known as the kid with the car, so everyone wants to become your best friend because of that. It's not a good way to meet friends. So just know that the accessibility will not be a hindrance to you if you're relying on that bus system.
Do you know that from some personal experience?
I do, Mr.
Yeah.
Shields. Yes, I had a car for one semester. The one summer I was on campus, and it seemed like friends of friends of friends were asking, "Hey, can you get groceries with me this weekend, or can you go pick up?" I actually had a friend of a friend ask if I could pick up their cousin who was flying in from out of town. I picked him up at the airport. I'm like, I'm not an Uber. I'm not doing this. So no, yeah, I learned that the hard way.
So guys, you do not need a car on campus. So save that gas. Save that that parking permit as well. And I guess my last question would be, can you talk a little bit about the co-curriculars or the activities on campus but outside of the classroom that students can engage in, and what are some of your most popular student organizations?
It's a lovely question. So I do get as far as number of questions I receive about extracurriculars, a lot of them do revolve around, in this case, the fraternity life. So know that we do have a Greek life system on campus. About 20% of our students do go into the Greek life. We have a delayed rush process, which means you have to wait until at least your second semester freshman year to go and rush or pledge into a fraternity. We want to make sure that you are adapting into your college life academically and socially and emotionally. All of these things have to be in line before you decide you want to jump into that Greek life if you're interested in it. I mentioned it's only 20%. It's a very active 20%, so they don't just sit around and do nothing. There's a lot of philanthropic work that they do with the greater Milwaukee community, so know that that's going to be available for you. But there are over 325 other things that you could do as well. Now, I'm not going to pretend to know even half of them because there are too many to keep up with, but they range from everything from political groups, language groups, heritage groups. My friend created a ukulele group on campus, the stand-up comedy, improv comedy, so all the performing arts, dance groups, all these things. So they're essentially, if you're doing something now in high school or want to continue doing it in high school, or you want to start your own club, it's going to be available to you at a campus like Marquette, because there's just so much that you can be a part of. And during the first semester of you being on campus, you get exposed to see what all of those clubs are. We have a festival we call O-Fest, Organization Festival. And essentially, it's a big parade for all of the orgs and associations and clubs on campus. So you get to see what's out there. You get to meet with some of the the presidents or other members on the e-board to get to know what their club's all about, and then decide if you have the time and interest to sign up for that club.